Hey, it's Nico at Deltastring.com. We do Zendesk solutions, Zendesk migrations, automations, integrations, and applications. And I'm going to run you through a bunch of things that make me a better tech contractor and maybe could make you a better tech contractor, engineer, what have you as well, or at least give you some ideas for what you should carry in your bag. So here's what I carry on me to get the job done. When you're doing contract work, you've got to be super prepared. You've got to be ready for whatever comes up. One of the things that's really weird that helps me do that is electrical tape, right? And what I do with the electrical tape is you can just use a little bit to label all the things that you need to grab on the way in and out of a meeting room, right? So all of my USB cables, laptop charger, headset, whatever I might need. If I'm going to be on site, stick a little bit of this on it and you can really quickly see which things are yours. If you've got a colleague doing the same, grab a different color. Comes in loads of colors and stuff. But yeah, a little loop of this on things that you need to grab and you'll just really quickly spot, right, this, pens, whatever it might be, things you're going to get out in a meeting room that you're just going to need to grab, gather up, chuck in your bag, move on to whatever you got on next. This is invaluable, wouldn't be without it. Electrical tape makes us super prepared. Another thing you've got to be when you're doing contract work is you've got to be really efficient, right? And that often means having all your stuff powered, right? If I've got to jump in the car and head to site, maybe I haven't had as much notice as I would like. Yeah, that's contract life, right? Maybe I need to be somewhere else today. Maybe I've got to get a meeting the other side of town. Maybe I've got to go to a conference in London or something. And another thing that I wouldn't be without there for is, should have grabbed it already, this here anchor. The one I use is an anchor, but you can get all different ones from all different brands. And it's got proper power and loads of USBs, and it plugs into like the cigarette lighter in your car. And I just have this charged in the car or sat there charging in the car. And if I've got to get somewhere and I don't have all the devices I need charge, well, then I plug them all into this. And by the time I get where I'm going, everything's good to go. No nonsense, never be shown up to site with a laptop out of battery, always ready to go. And I got a bigger one of these over there that works as a UPS that's got a satellite router connected to it, because again, when we're working here, we can't be without power, we can't be without the internet. If you can't be without it, then you have to be ready for how you'll deal with it, right? So super efficient, carry one of these in the boot, always ready to go. Nothing ever needs charging. When I get to site, there's no panic about that. And you can get on with your work. When you're doing tech contracts, you've got to be super agile. You've got to be ready to move. Things can change. You need to be somewhere else. You need to be working on a different thing. You need to get to site. There's a panic. Everything's on fire, whatever it might be. Or really often, yeah, getting to London, getting to meetings, getting to conferences, or getting out to, in my case, contact centers and making sure the agents are all trained, or the phone lines are working, things like that. And what I use for that is I have this here bag. This one is a camera bag of some sort. It says Newer on it. I don't know anything about the brand really. And I can, have water bottle and coffee cup in each side. It's got bits where I can strap stuff onto it. And inside this one's got loads of Velcro dividers so that all my stuff doesn't rattle around. And in the top, I've got essential things like hand sand, Kleenex, business cards, screen wipes. So I can grab this, have it kitted up, everything's already charged, get there, get going, get the job done. Got to be agile, got to be ready for things to change. And to do that, you need a good bag. Another thing you've got to be on these gigs is super organized. I have worked with other tech contractors who I've known to show up to site without their laptop charger. I worked with a project manager who turned up without a laptop. You can't get a lot done if you haven't got a laptop. But one way of keeping really organized is labeling everything. And this label maker is the thing with which I label things. And if everything says on it what it's for, so various different AC adapters for various backup options or pieces of hardware that are specific. Everything's labeled, everything's ready to go, and it's all prepped over there on the shelf. So if I've got to get somewhere tomorrow, if I've got to get somewhere in half an hour, then I know where I'm going to grab everything, and everything's going to say what it is on it. I'm not going to find myself leaving without a cable I need or something like that. So labeling things, that is really critical. So as a contractor, as someone who works for yourself and has to solve clients' problems to make a living, you've got to be always on. You know, these ideas can come to you anytime, solutions to problems you've been having, what have you, and you've got to just always be ready to deal with whatever comes up or whatever springs to mind, right? And really often I'll be maybe on a long drive getting somewhere and something will occur to me that I should note down, right? You can't get pen and paper out, can you? Or maybe you've got to take a call in a noisy area, or all these different things. And so a thing that I always carry is, I don't know if you can see it here, but I've got this microphone that I guess I've just tapped and made a horrible noise in your ears with. And to illustrate it, I have the bag for it. It is a Sennheiser USB-C lav of some sort. It's about 30 quid. And when I'm driving somewhere, or if I'm doing something in the garage or what have you, I can have this on me and be making notes that I can transcribe using maybe an AI transcription tool or whatever you like to do, or you can go through manually and just go through, collate your notes later, or you can make calls with it, what have you. And I find this mic has been a really great addition to my sort of workflow, driving around, making notes, sending people messages, whatever it might be that I need to do. This is a better way to do that. It sounds way better than shouting at your laptop or your phone, depending on whatever you're doing. This really works for me. I'd recommend it. Take notes out and about, have this thing ready to go in its little bag, in your kit bag, in your car, whatever. Make your notes as you go. Don't forget things that spring to mind. Don't lose ideas you've had, and keep the stuff that's important. So yeah, this mic here helps me be always on, always ready to go, always getting stuff done. All right, another thing you've got to be self-sufficient, right? When you get there, you do not know if you're going to have a desk. You do not know what's going on when you're going to site, when you're going to someone's offices. If you haven't been there before, if you're at a conference, if you've got meetings somewhere, you have no idea what you're going to get. And I've already mentioned keeping everything charged, keeping everything ready to go, and that in my home office, as well as having fiber connection, we've also got the satellite internet ready to go, always on a UPS. Never disconnected, never costing us or the client money. And another thing, therefore, that I keep tucked away in my bag is a spare SIM card with all of the data. Now, I have worked for clients that have been very bureaucratic and very complicated companies. And there was a client I worked for 6 months where they never managed to get the right person to sign the right form to put me on the Wi-Fi, right? But no one ever knew because I'm always connected. I got a SIM card on me. I got it connected in a little router or a spare backup phone. You've always got to be ready to get on with what's happening. And so, yeah, the person that needed to sign that form was in a different time zone, and they could reach out to someone else, but they turned out to be on maternity. And I just never got onto the Wi-Fi at that office, and I worked there for 6 months. But what I had was a couple of SIM cards with unlimited data, different networks, and so I could get the job done. And that's what you got to do. You got to get the job done. You got to solve the problems. Sometimes clients will be really complicated companies. Sometimes they won't have the infrastructure you expect. You've got to turn up knowing that whatever's going on there, you are self-sufficient, ready to go, get on with it, get the problem solved, make cash for everyone. Another thing you've got to be as a tech contractor is really risk averse, right? You have access to systems, data, all these things that you've got to be very aware of. And what we do at Deltastring is we have individual, separate, portable SSDs. And so the client data is entirely segregated. It's always available. These are labeled. These are backed up as images onto a custom NAS. So we're not going to lose everything, but you can't work off of those. These are re-imaged and backed up and ready to go per client. One of these, like 100 quid. And if you're keeping client data, particularly if you're keeping multiple different clients of data on your laptop, you are doing it wrong. You're a huge risk. You're a huge liability. Don't be that. Be risk averse. Be sensible. Back it up. And for using it, use something like this. It's as fast as your internal drive. So there's no excuse. Grab a couple of these, one for each client, and keep it separate, keep it safe. keep it fully encrypted on here, and you're good to go. As a tech contractor, you need to have full focus, and you always need to be engaged in what you're working on. And that is why when you go to the offices of companies that you've heard of these, S&P, Fortune 500 companies, then what you'll find is that everybody who needs to get on with something is wearing noise cancelling headphones. And it's mostly going to be these. These are Sony XM4s because they're fine. They are really not great for music. They're really not great for calls. The mics are bizarrely terrible on these. But what they do is they just shut out everything else, and you can just get on with what you're doing. And if that is traveling, maybe you've got to get on a bus or get on the tube or travel via a taxi. If you're sat in a noisy office, if you need to focus, then these are the best way to do that. They are a long, long way from my favorite headphones in the world, but the noise cancelling does the job. And when you've just got to shut everyone out and get on with something, this is the right tool. There's a few other brands. I don't know. I haven't tried them all, but the XM4s are the ones on everybody's head at all these big companies. The XM5s don't really seem to have taken off. You occasionally see people with the Apple ones, but I don't think those are super great. Though I quite like the kind of look of the magnesium cups. I digress. If I want to listen to music, I grab different ones. There's a few pairs behind me. But if I just need the world to be quieter, then these do the business. One thing that all engineers, people focused on engineering work, really have to be is just solution-minded, right? And when you see a problem, you find a way around it. And an example of this is I was getting really bad headaches. And when you go to multiple different client sites, and when you have a lot of traveling there, maybe you've got to drive an hour and then sit on the tube for an hour, get a bus, and then go and sit somewhere with fluorescent lights. You're staring at a screen all day, what have you. I was getting real bad headaches. And you're not doing your best work when you've got a real bad headache. The solution I found was I got a few pairs of these, but these are the ones that I had to hand. These yellow glasses, and they got like an anti-glare thing they could do with a clean. These particular ones are from Valen, who make real cool specs. I got a few pairs of theirs, but I got a few different brands of these yellow lensed glasses, which they don't look kind of weird to wear inside. It just looks like they're kind of quite specialized glasses. I think these actually are toughened glass as well, so they're protective ones. I think these are made for cycling and things. But what these do is, they stop me getting the horrible headaches from fluorescent lights, from screens, from being on the tube, from driving long hours, what have you. And if you've got a headache, you're not doing great work. I don't have a headache because I've thought about it. I've found a solution that works for me, and then I can get on with doing my best stuff. So I always have some yellow glasses to hand, and I think these are my favorites. But they are a little bit heavy on the nose. They're pretty good, right? I mentioned them rummaging through my bag, but another thing you've got to have on you is a big old wad of business cards. So you can introduce yourself to people, make connections, know who you're dealing with. You're going to be real sociable. If you're at a conference, wherever you are, you always are going to need these. You should always be introducing yourself to people. People should always be able to get in contact with you afterwards. Definitely leave them blank on the back, because you will always be noting things down on these as well. Maybe pricing or some ideas of availability, what have you. But watch your business cards, be sociable, meet people, make friends, solve their problems.